Welcome back to Skill Up Stand channel. When it comes to automation in AWS Instance Scheduler is a very popular tool to automatically stop your RDS EC2 instances. So it is not limited to EC2 instances. It can also be used to restart your relational database instances in a particular schedule. So why we need to do that? So we already discussed that in a couple of methods where this is predominantly done to reduce the cost. And also when we do this cost optimization, it also helps you to save some time when you do it in an automated way. So this particular services is completely serverless solution where AWS has developed a cloud formation stack, and you don't have to really know any coding or any programming skills in order to implement this automation. So this is going to be a completely template-driven approach. So when you go and deploy this stack, cloud formation stack, it will go and create all the necessary services that is needed to store your tables, and then what kind of Python code, the CloudWatch event notification, and then the permissions or the required roles for this particular activity. So we are going to deploy the instance scheduler using the cloud formation stack, and we will define the maintenance window for our business, like based on our application, based on our location. We'll go and define what is the working week or what is the business hours, start time and end time for that particular location. So let's go and dive deep in a practical way. So before we get into the practical, let's understand what exactly is Instance Scheduler. So Instance Scheduler is a solution by AWS. It helps you to automate the starting and stopping of EC2 and the relational database services. So both actually. And see, if you are talking about elasticity and flexibility in public cloud, so it is by default like you have to do some manual tasks in order to achieve that. So here we want to get it done in a highly automated way. And what kind of cost optimization we are talking about here? So here, if you look at, in general, your instances will run for 168 hours in a week, in a 24/7 week. But then actual usage of the system will be limited to 10 hours a working day, right? So approximately like 50 hours is what is we need from the server, right? And if you bring down the server in a month, you might get up to 70% cost saving. That is huge, right? For all your non-production workload. So this can be done in a automated way. And there are two options. You can do it via the graphical user interface, or you can also use the instance scheduler CLI. And it is just a matter of executing 3 commands, and you're done with the setup, right? And the tagging is one of the very important strategy that we have to follow along in this particular solution. We need to tag the resources properly based on their environment, based on their location, so that the script that we are, or the particular solution that we are implementing, can automatically pick up the non-production workload, and it can bring down the systems at the particular schedule interval. Okay, so let's go and implement the solution. So we are going to do it in an automated way. Even the solution deployment is going to be fully automated. It is very robust solution, and definitely when you go and implement this in a customer environment, they might ask about the overall solution cost, right? It might average between 2 to 4 USD in a month. Okay, this is a per month cost we are talking about. It all depends on how many times you're going to execute the Lambda function. And I've just given a rough idea here. Maybe it might be around kind of $1 to $2 based on the number of servers, number of execution we need to make. And similarly, the other areas, based on the number of servers, it might go up to, this is the maximum side that we are talking about. So approximately we might get $2 to $4 per month for this particular solution. Okay, let's go and deploy this solution. And you can also use this command line tool or scheduler-CLI command, which is a Python-based command, which is the Python Boto3 driven command actually on the back end. So you can go and mention what is the weekdays and what is the start time, end time for your business, and which time zone you are operating your system. So I'll show you this in a graphical way so that you get a very good understanding. So I've created a system in North Virginia region, and I'll show you. You have to go to your AWS documentation, and under the instance scheduler on AWS documentation, if you go to the CloudFormation template, you can go and download the template, and you can edit it to match your naming convention, tagging convention, and you can just update certain things based on the requirement for your organization. Some organization might have their own uh, standards in terms of monitoring metrics and other stuffs, right? So you have to go to the automated deployment screen here, scroll to the middle of the screen, and here you have the option to go and launch the solution. If you click on this launch the solution, it will automatically open up the CloudFormation in our AWS account, and you will automatically shown the link where exactly the templates are stored by Amazon. So this is an Amazon managed template. If you have modified it, you can change it to the file location where you have uploaded in your own S3 bucket. Now we are using the sample or the default scheduler template, and I'm going next here. You can also view it in the designer to understand what are the different technology stack that it is going to implement, but I'm just going to give some name, right? Stan instance scheduler stack 01. And here I'm just going to leave it. If you want to schedule this or use this particular instance scheduler for both EC2 and RDS, you can select both. And accordingly, you have to select the rest of the things. If you want to take a snapshot before stopping and starting, or if you want to have this enabled for a particular region, you can go and enable it. So you can add, or you can use this for multiple region, multiple accounts. So it is very robust solution. So I'm going to deploy it in Chennai location, or if you want to deploy it in a different region, you can just provide the region there. And I want to use the Asia Kolkata time zone for this particular instance scheduling, so that I don't have to convert and do a lot of additional steps. Okay, if you have another account where you have to do this, you can enter the cross account ID, and you can also mention how frequently you want to trigger this Lambda, either 1 minute or by default it is 5 minutes. And if you want to just give a little more room for the Lambda to schedule it or run it, you can just give more. And if you want to manage larger number of instances, you can increase the memory size for your Lambda. So you can increase it up to 1.5 GB. Default is 128 MB. I'm leaving it with default. And if you want to enable the CloudWatch metrics, logs, and the maintenance window, you can add it. And also, I don't want to store the logs for a longer duration. I'm going to limit it for 1 day. And when this instance scheduler starts the VM, it automatically will add some tags here. Okay, I'll just say it is started by Stan instance scheduler, something like this. And then while it stops, it'll add this tag on the instance where it has stopped and started the instance, right? So if you go to the instances, you will find the tagging section here. So here it will add a key stating that it was started by whom, and you can just add whatever random value or any string if you want to include. You can change it to match your requirement, right? So click on next, and you can, if you already have a role created for this purpose, you can add it. But then if you don't have it, you can just go and say you want to create it. While you acknowledge, it will say that it is going to create an IAM role. So you have to confirm that this IAM resources are good to create here in this account, right? I can just go and submit. So this is going to take 5 to 10 minutes time in order to create the resources. So in the interest of time, I've just triggered this few minutes back on one more region in my North Virginia region. So while this is creating, I'll walk you through what are the different resources that will get created, and we will look at the different resources. So if you look at the resources here, there are two different views now, right? The tree view, which gives you the logical view of what are the different stuffs that it has created, like your DynamoDB, the permissions for EC2 instance, IAM. And if you go to the flat view, you'll be able to see the physical ID of each and every stuff that it has got created, right? Let's jump into the environment to see what kind of changes it has made. If you go to the Lambda function, you can see it has created a Lambda function with the code that is needed to stop and start the instance. And it will automatically go and create a rule based on the entry that we are making in the DynamoDB. So if you go to the DynamoDB here, if you go to the tables, it will create few tables like this. So now it is getting created. So automatically, like you can see, there is a table for maintaining the state, maintenance window, and then mentioning the configuration on one of the tables. These are all default tables that are getting created. It is just getting created. You'll have to give some time. So meanwhile, I'll use the older one to show you this. So if you go to the table, and within that table, you can see there are very many items, but three items are very important. So you will go and mention like what is the office hours for your business, like whether it is Monday to Friday or Saturday to Thursday. So it depends on the region, right? In Middle East, the working days is different from the working days in some of the other region, right? I've just I'm checking whatever we have given during the creation, whether it has got it here. And this particular activity is completely dependent on what kind of tag that you are going to add. So this only when the system is having the appropriate environment tag and the schedule tag, then this particular activity will apply to that. Okay, let's see. So here you can see that this particular schedule is applicable for the systems with tag US office hours. So what I'll do is I'll just go and say, this is my schedule. I'm just going to add this as a tag. So these are all case sensitive. So you have to ensure that you are adding the exact tag that you are finding it here. So if you move on to the right, so you can see that tag has got capital yes or uppercase yes, and then you have to follow the same. And you have to use the same schedule value. This is the value that you would add in order to apply this to the system. Yeah, I've just saved. So now the system is currently running, right? So what I'm going to show you now is if I make the working hours is from maybe let's say 2:30 to let's say 2:30 to 2:30 to 8 o'clock. Okay, so this is the start time, end time. So if I've added that, so what will happen now is the production hour starts at only 2:30 and it ends at 8 o'clock. So just for our testing, right? So if this is the case, what will happen behind the scenes? The Lambda will look at the systems that are having the tag schedule US office hours. It will go and check whether those systems are turned on. If those are turned on, automatically those systems will be brought down. So let's go and check whether the system is still running. Yeah, it is still running. Let's give it a minute. So within a minute or two, it should come down because our business hours only start at 2:30. Let's see. Yeah, see, it is stopping. And you can see that it might have added a tag also here. So what has stopped this? So this is the instance scheduler that has stopped this, and it has added a tag value that on the behind the scenes, the system is running during the off business hours. Save the cost, it has started stopping the instance. And after a minute, when the time hits 2:30 local time, it will automatically start the VM also. Let's see. Let's give it a minute and then see whether the tags are getting updated. Okay, now it says stopped by Stan IS. It should automatically change the tag to started by Stan IS, and the VM should start when the time 2:30 p.m. Yeah, we are already on 2:30 p.m. now, so the instance should get started. Let's see. Yeah, so it is in pending state, and we can go and check the tag now. See, it is saying that started by Stan IS. So let me give you a little more clarity here. I'll copy the instance ID. Let's go and check the CloudTrail log to even get a better understanding on what has happened behind the scenes. Right? I'm going through the CloudTrail. CloudTrail is the logging or the service where all the events are getting captured. I'll go to the event history and then search or filter the search only by the resource ID. And if you look at here, see, this is what has happened, right? This is what we were saying. At 2:29 local time, the server has got stopped and it has deleted the existing tag and it has created a tag. And what was the tag that was added? It has added a tag called stopped by StanIS. Yeah, that's what we saw, right? And if you go one step back, and then if you look at here, at exactly 2:30 p.m. local time, it has started the system. And what tag it has added? It has added a tag stating that started by StanIS. Perfect, right? So it has stopped the instance during the off business hours, and it has started the instance, and it has also added the tag for starting it, and then it has deleted the tag which was there, right? It also added a tag called stopped by. So it might have went ahead and deleted that value or the key. Perfect. Okay, so it is very clear that the instance scheduler is working as per intention. So you can just go and deploy this, and you just don't need to really know any code or nothing behind this. So you just have to understand what is the business hours, and you can just go and enter the start and end time on the respective item. Okay, so your DynamoDB is not limited to just stop and start. Even if you just go to the configuration, there are other items which you can see. Let's check this. So there are something like scale up, scale down, a lot of different things can also be done using the instance scheduler. So it's not just limited to stop and start. So if you go to the configuration here, if you go to the items, you can also see a lot of other things like scale up the instances, scale down the instances, and you can also configure different entries for different location. So you might have different schedule for different geographical region, right? You can configure the working hours for each and every location, and also you can mention which period is applicable for different business systems. Some application might be needed until 10 p.m. Some application might be needed until 8 p.m. So you can just configure the schedule and the period for your application. Thank you for listening.